Lynn.
And I'm Amanda. And this is The Pursuit of Badasserie, the podcast.
This podcast is all about taking action and creating that badass business abundance and life that you want.
Where we share stories, laughs, wins, and epic fails to show you the whole picture of the entrepreneurial journey.
It's not just unicorns and rainbows, people.
Jump on and follow us through this raw and witty roller coaster,
where we get down and dirty and go behind the scenes of life and entrepreneurship.
Get on it,
get over it,
and get after it.
Hey, I'm Lynn.
And I'm Amanda. Welcome to The Pursuit of Badasserie, the podcast. Lynn, how are you today?
I'm fabulous. Fabulous. How are you?
Not too shabby. Not too shabby. It's coming into a new year. We're changing things up, getting crazy excited about upcoming events. I'm in a good place. Ooh, yeah. We're going to be talking about some of those things that we're talking about is goals and goal setting. It is January. It is a topic that comes up. We're all talking about New Year's resolutions, which I actually hate the concept of a New Year's resolution, but I do love goal setting. And side note about New Year's resolutions, the reason why I don't like it is that so many resolutions are completely a flop by February 15th. Like a month and a half in, everyone gives those up because they're not realistic. And the reason they're not realistic is that you make this list of like 10 things that you want to do, and there's no timeline, there's no specificity, there's no like breaking it down to what it truly is. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna
well, let's be honest, man. There's no damn action. Like they literally,
there's no action.
I'm gonna write on a piece of paper and it's just gonna happen. And
I'm gonna like, or like I'm gonna burn the piece of paper and like that is gonna go out into the universe and it's gonna bring me back a winning like lottery ticket and a Pulitzer, and I'm gonna speak more eloquently and floss my teeth every day. Like it's madness. It's madness. I hate resolutions.
For real. And that's the truth with goals too. And we're going to kind of break down a little bit about goals and goal setting in this quick podcast for you. And I'm sure we're going to have more podcasts around this because this is definitely one of my jams. I think I guess I should stop saying that on podcasts because why else would we be talking about it? We just like so many topics, people. We like so many.
We're very versatile.
Yeah, we're very versatile.
A lot of interests.
And goals are super cool. And it's crazy because I've gotten into many discussions around this, especially when I was COO of the global company. I remember doing a couple of, because it was broader. I think this is why I had these discussions on a different level because, they were franchisees, coaches, and consultants all over the world that had, there were some cultural differences. They also weren't necessarily, even though I'm CEO, they had the franchisee above them or master franchisee. So I wasn't necessarily their direct contact. So they knew me, they worked with me. However, I wasn't that person. And not saying that what they said, there was anything wrong with it. It's interesting though, because I had a lot of discussion around like, or I have a friend too here in the States. I don't set goals. I just set intentions. Yeah. I believe in setting intentions. Or like one guy from the UK was like, smart goals are stupid. And this is why, because people can't do X, Y, and Z. And, I think there's a lot of, I don't want to say controversy, can't even speak today, controversy around goal setting. However, I believe that there are some basics that will really help you. So what I would say is when you're listening to this podcast, there are some things that I personally believe, and I know Amanda will believe her own too, that you need for goal setting that will help you have results and projected results. However, some of the stuff is like, make it into your own. Even if you have to call it something different, it doesn't necessarily have to be called this particular thing, but there are definitely some things that are going to help you around the goal setting.
Yes. And I know not everybody is into SMART goals. If you're not familiar with what SMART goals are, yeah, I mean, it's not everyone's into it. But if you are not familiar with that and you want to learn more about it, if you go to our website, thepursuitofbadasserie.com, you can download a free guide that will go through some of the SMART goals. It'll go through SWOT analysis, goal setting. Like it goes through a lot of different things that within your business. So if you haven't already downloaded that, if you haven't been reading that subsequent pamphlet with that goes with our book. Highly recommend it because it will sort of delve into a bit more about what SMART goals are, because we're not really going to make this entire podcast about SMART goals. That's not what it is, but it is something that we both use. And for me, the most important thing about goal setting is, well, there's two things. One is it realistic? And I'm not saying that every goal you have to have is realistic, because that's going to be subjective based on who you are and what your style of living in life is. For example, if my resolution was to publish a second book in 2023, for some people that would seem like a ridiculous, impossible, like that's not going to happen goal. That's just like a fluffy idea. But for us, we're doing that. That's happening. Like in less than a year from our first book, our second book's coming out. So for us, that's not an unrealistic goal because of who we are and the steps that we have already taken to get there. Because that's the second most important, or maybe it's the most important, actionable items. You can't just, I'm not going to say that having the intention or setting forth like a meditation or mantras, I'm not saying that those are useless things. However, when The Secret came out years ago, I don't even remember when The Secret came out, there was this whole thing like, I just believe it's going to happen and I make a vision board, I'm going to get these things. Like, well, no, I can't just like want a Ferrari and like it's going to manifest into the universe that one's going to show up at my front door and someone's going to be like, here's the keys to your new Ferrari. That's not going to happen. First of all, I can't even drive stick, so it's definitely not going to happen. There has to be something that you do in order to get that. So your actionable items within your goal setting are just as important as the goal itself. So if my goal is to write a book and I've been trying to write one for 50 years, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So if you've been trying to write a book for 50 years and then you can't write a book, what are you going to do this year as an action step to get you there where you failed in the past 50 years? Same thing like weight loss goal. Everybody, it's one of the top 10 goals or top 10 resolutions is, some health or wellness. Really, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to get back into my skinny jeans, or I'm going to whatever, insert health goal. Those are one of the top 10 most popular resolutions, and also one of the ones that fail. And it's, are you doing anything different? Are you eating salads just for like 1 week of January and then giving up? Are you changing something and making an action step to get there? Or are you just like throwing it into the wind and hoping that it comes to fruition because you've said it will be so? I'm not a fan of The Secret, not because I don't believe in manifestation, but because so many people just assume, and this is my own personal thing, so many people assume that if I wish it, it will come. And I do not subscribe to that belief. And if that is true and I'm missing out on something, somebody please contact me, because I would love to manifest many things just by saying it aloud one time. That'd be amazing.
Well, I love you. And I love that this is where we definitely agree and we differ in some aspects, because I love The Secret. And the first time I watched it, I was like, holy crap, people think like me. However, here's the thing. I've always put in the action and I've always taken steps. And so setting intention is very different. To me, that's like prepping your mind, your body, your soul to like be ready for it. You're setting the intention, like you're laying the foundation of the work. The manifestation and the law of attraction is also like really being open to receive and to allow it to come into you. I believe in that. And I believe that what goal setting, because people get lucky, happenstance happens. We can fall into things all the time. And here's the thing. I have some really good girlfriends. I have one in particular that I'm thinking that she does put in action. This is not it. However, when things happen to her and she allows herself to believe like that happened because she manifested it, and she might have manifested some of it, and she's also put herself in the right position at the right time in the right place. Like she said yes, she made the action to go forward, and I love her for this because she is a bit more fluid and free with her woo-woo side, I'll say, and things have really worked for her. However, she's put in the action. She did put herself into certain positions, and it makes her more lighthearted and carefree in the way that she receives and is open to stuff. So I won't poo-poo that. And what I will say is action. So having really clear goals gives us clarity on the direction that we want to go. It gives us the ability to invite others in to help us and assist us. It gives us predictable, well, there's a little bit more to that. However, it can give us predictable results or forecasts, right? So having goals, it should be a standard. Like it should be a standard, and things go awry. Like, listen, I think we have spoke. If not, it will be a podcast about agility and resilience. We might have to pivot. We might have to do this. I was just having this conversation on a call earlier today, and that's okay because we still have the end goal in mind. So if we know we want to get from point A to point B, it might not be the strategy, or as I like to say, path that we thought it was going to be. That's okay. There are multiple strategies to get from point A to point B. It is setting your goals, having strategies, so the path, the roadmap to get there, and then the action steps that you're doing on a daily basis, the activities and action steps. So strategies and actions are really important in that. The other thing that I would add too is like having check-in points. So that way, you know, if you're like on your path to that particular goal, calendaring it out once you have the goals, being really smart about it, and calendaring it out. So that way, you know, you should be at point A at this time, point B at this time, point C at this time. Like there's a few different things that will help you make that goal move forward and be accomplished. That is, to me, essential, because otherwise you're just kind of fumbling through, and you can get there. However, was it effective? Was it efficient? And if you're okay with always taking the scenic route and not really having like structure, and you're more fluid with that, then that's you. Okay. That's not me. And that's not necessarily how to get a lot of things or accomplish. Highly successful people, and those that are accomplishing a lot, are going to have strategies and actions behind it. Those that are looking to scale, looking to be more strategic, they're going to have strategies and actions around that. And you have to put in the action in order to be able to do it. One other thing I want to add before we get into it, because otherwise I might forget, is also goal setting is holistic. It's 360. And when I do goal setting, I know Amanda does the same thing. When we do goal setting with our clients, like I am asking for you to think about personal goals, about business goals, financial, spiritual, fun, educational, networking, et cetera, like look at it from the whole point of view and not just one dimensional, because everything is interconnected. And double check to make sure, and Amanda said this earlier about relevant, I would say, is it relevant to you? Because a lot of times we set goals based on what we think others want us to do, and or what our subconscious, or like us trying to like make our childhood sweetheart happy from 50 years ago. Like, are they relevant to you? And that will help you as well. I know I just babbled off a bunch of things, but there's so much around goals that I love.
There's so much around goals. And, you know, it gets to this, and I never, when I was younger, I never appreciated this interview question, but it was always like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I always thought, like, when you're 20 and someone asks you that, you're like, 5 years is, I mean, it's like a quarter of your life. So like, I have no idea where I'm going to be in 5 years. And I think that's relevant for goal setting, because if I have a 5-year goal, let's just throw the 5-year term out there. Like, I want to do XYZ in 5 years. I think we have all, if you learned nothing from 2022, it learned that it went really fast. Even though there were slow parts of 2022 that felt like they were dragging on to your wit's end. I mean, the days are long, but the years are short. And that goes along with goal setting as well. If you don't set yourself to task and give yourself these manageable goals, okay, if I have this goal I want to achieve after 1 year, after 5 years, how are you going to break that down? Because you could look up one day from your desk and it's already been 5 years and you've done nothing towards that goal that you had that was your 5-year goal. So if you have a big goal, and whether it's a personal goal, you know, a spiritual goal, a career-based goal, it doesn't matter what the goal is or what genre it falls into. you need to set yourself some kind of checks and balances, some kind of system, some kind of something like, and I personally set one up every 3, 6, 9, and 12 months because I can work very, very clearly in a 3-month, like this is Q1. This is what I'm doing in Q1. This is what I'm doing in Q2 in order to meet that ultimate goal. So if I have a specific goal in mind, I want to have this done. If I just have that as my goal, like in my head, like, well, I'll put it on my vision board. And I'm not saying I don't have a vision board, because I do, I have a vision board. But if I put it on the vision board and then don't do anything or check in with that vision, it's not saying that I'm not manifesting that, because maybe I will manifest that. But if I want to do it on a timeline, I've got to put some steps in place, because time gets away from you. Time gets away from you. And sometimes it's in a good way and sometimes in a bad way. I think about when you go to a theme park and you look up, you're like, oh my gosh, it's 5:00. I had so much fun today. That's a good way that time got away from you, but it still got away from you. And I think that's an example that it doesn't matter whether it's a positive or negative. If you have a goal, even if you're having an amazing year and you're just riding through it, if it's an important enough goal, you will set up some milestones for yourself, set up some checks and balances, so that you're checking in with yourself. And whether that's every 2 weeks, every 10 weeks, whatever it is for you, whatever works for you, I think that's really important, because time is so fleeting. It just, like, you blink and you're like, it's been a year. Like, what happened?
Absolutely. Can't believe it.
I mean, that's why tax extensions exist. So suddenly you blink and it's April 16th. You're like, well, I'm not ready. I wasn't prepared. And that kind of stuff just sneaks up on you. So when you're setting an important goal, if it is truly important to you, you have to give yourself something to work for that's manageable. Otherwise, it's going to become too overwhelming. You're never going to get it done, or you're going to forget about it. And it'll just be too obscure, and you won't be able to really grasp it until you sit back and you're like, oh, another year has passed and I haven't done that thing. I haven't started my business. I haven't,
I'm in the same spot that I was 5 years ago. And that happened over and over. And maybe not in all aspects of people's lives, but in certain aspects it does. By the way, the April 16th is for our US-based friends that are listening in.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, there are so many things around goals that you said, the 3, 6, 9, that way you can have the checks and balances. One thing that I do with my clients, and this is how much I love goals. Like, we actually have a system where I know the percentage of completion that my clients and myself are at because of the system that I've set up. And it's actually quite simple. And what we do is we break it up into bite-sized chunks every month. So they know, so they have their main goals for the year, and then they break up bite-sized chunks of things that they're going to do every month. And we have it in a spreadsheet. And so that way they know the percentage that they're getting to their main goal. And it's really incredible when you start to look at things, because here's the other side to this. I don't know how many of you are like, I know Amanda and she actually just made the comment, we'll look at the end of the year or look 3, 6 months down the line from now, and we're like, dang, we didn't get anything complete. And actually we got a ton complete. However, maybe we didn't get the big items that we were focusing on the most or wanting to focus on, but we did get things complete, or we are further along than what we think. And instead of scrapping something, maybe we just need to reevaluate and reinvent it or revise it or redirect it, right? So just keeping that in mind, goals are essential. Like, at the end of the day, they're essential. Look at anybody who's extremely successful at what they've done long-term, not an overnight success that went away, that just had like that fluke thing, but those that have had long-term success, anywhere from performers that are musicians and singers, etc., to professional sports and athlete players, to the top CEOs and CFOs, even to amazing parents. They have goals in mind. They work towards them. Successful marriages are based on collective goals. Like, if you look at all the different, like, really successful examples of accomplishing something, they are goal-oriented in some sort or another, and they know where they're at during the process. They're having the conversations, they're having the checks and balances. Super important. Amanda, we are already at time. Look at this one. And so fast. We could talk about this forever. And I just want to add one more thing. It doesn't need to always be at the beginning of the year. Like, just do it. Like, and you should always be checking on it. But if you haven't set goals and it's freaking June, then set some goals in June, and it could be to 6 months to the end of the year. It could be for another year. That's up to you. Just do it and take the action. And we'll talk about this. Another one is this is also like understanding your goals in this process helps you work on your habits too, that are either helping you or hindering you in your goals. Okay, Amanda,
Yes.
I'm done.
No, for sure. You're spot on that you don't need a new year. You don't need a Monday. You don't need your milestone birthday or, something else to be finished before you can start this. Those are all huge misconceptions in goal setting. You can do it right now. You can do it instantly. You can get somewhere towards there if you set up those systems and you make it a point to check in with yourself. So my action items for goal setting are to look ahead 3, 6, 9, 12, whatever feels right for you, and look at goals, not just business goals. Look at your personal goals, look at your relationship goals, look at spiritual goals, travel goals, like whatever you wanted to make it, it should be tailored to you. Because if you're just like going to look up the top 10 resolutions and make that your resolution because somebody else on the internet said that should be your resolution, it's never going to stick. Really dive. We always say like deep dive. Sorry, folks. The best things in life come from knowing yourself better. Sorry about that. Sorry, not sorry. But so that's my action item. Think about what really is important to you and prioritize it by the type of thing. So, it's a personal goal, it's a spiritual goal, like make goals that mean something to you, not just like a monetary number, unless that is what's important to you. But even still, you've got to set up checks and balances. So once you've made that goal, I want you to work backwards and think of at least one thing that you need to have accomplished by X amount of days to get you there. So maybe it's something small, like I need to have read 7 pages in this book, or I need to join our writing mastermind, or I need to, book a lesson to drive stick shift, like whatever it is to get you to your goal. Work backwards and make that plan and make that happen. Because if you don't do it now, it's going to be 2024 and you'll have done nothing.
Absolutely. I would agree with what Amanda just said. My term for working backward is reverse engineer. So reverse engineer it. So think in a flipogram and look all the way back to what you need to do today in order to get there tomorrow. And break it up so that way you have the bite-sized chunks or milestones or whatever you want to call them. Definitely holistic. We're not one-dimensional, so setting goals in all aspects. And then I would say find someone to help keep you accountable, not a yes man or yes woman, but somebody who's going to call you out and like help keep you accountable. I mean, a coach consultant obviously works. That's what we do for our clients. However, it could be, a small group of moms or a small group of a mastermind. So just find people who will help keep you accountable in that, because community helps. Community helps. Another thing I would say is make it inspiring. If it's not inspiring to you, rewrite it so it's inspiring to you, because if it's not inspiring to you, it's not going to inspire others to help you along. The old saying, I love the African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And so at the end of the day, having community is really important. And then the very last thing I'm going to add is download that packet at thepursuitofbadasserie.com, because there's a lot of information in there, a lot of framework that's free for you to be able to use that will help you on this journey. So, all right, Amanda, another one down.
All right, get after it, folks. Set those goals.
That's right. Can't wait to hear. Leave us a message and a comment about all the goals that you're setting for 2023 or for the next year, 6 months, 9 months of your life. See you next time. All right, everyone. It's not enough to just listen.
Now you've got to put it into action.
We are so excited to see what you do next.
If you enjoyed our show, please leave us a review on iTunes.
And to find out more about what we're doing, visit us at thepursuitofbadasserie.com.